Many leaders have talked about Europe that needs its own military, an army of Europe. I really believe that time has come. The armed forces of Europe must be created.
It's come time for us in the West to turn our backs on America, for us to actually create our own reserve currency with the Europeans. There are plenty of places around the world that would rather use a new beefed up euro and basically chopping America off by the knees. They're in so much debt. They require the reserve currency status. If we want to actually make America heal, make them heal by basically turning around to them and say, look, you're not going to have the reserve currency status any longer. You're not in line with our values any longer.
Well, that is actually unintentionally, you've made me work out why they're so keen to promote the far-right parties in European countries, of course, because possibly as a caution against or a fear of what you're describing. A completely united Europe could actually go toe-to-toe with a rogue United States, even if it was supported by Vladimir Putin.
The EU together is the size of the American economy. We have 500 million consumers compared to 346 consumers in America.
Is the era of American dominance coming to an end? Some believe that what took 80 years to build could be unraveled in just a week. J.D. Vanshaw's recent speech in Munich stirred controversy, with him suggesting that Germany should rethink its historical stance on Nazis in speech. He also stated that Americans and Europeans no longer share the same values, which was met with a strong response from Europe, including Germany's Prime Minister affirming a commitment to never again tolerate fascism or racism. This has led to growing concerns in Europe about the U.S.'s role. Some European officials fear that under a potential Trump administration, the U.S. could withdraw troops from Europe as a concession to Russia. There's even talk of European leaders considering moving forward without the U.S., especially as Europe prepares for a major investment in its own industries, potentially shifting away from American weapons. The U.S. is also reportedly pushing for a peace deal in Ukraine that excludes both Ukraine and Europe, demanding 50% of the country's rare earth metals. With Europe now questioning America's commitment, many believe the war in Ukraine will end when Europe decides, not when Trump or Putin dictate it. These changes signal a potential power shift, leaving America's global influence in question.
I'm a bit surprised no one mentions here that the United States have also withdrawn from the Human Rights Council of the United Nations. This makes the world, for all Europeans, a more dangerous place. I'm not surprised, of course. I mean, we're speaking in the end of a country whose governments have illegally abducted people, tortured them in secret prisons throughout the Middle East, killed children, bombed weddings from Iraq to Afghanistan. A country responsible, according to its own universities, for millions of victims in the Middle East. We're speaking about a government that's actually today, currently pushing, supporting genocide, supporting the deportation of millions of Palestinians. The country blocking the Cuban people from getting the medical equipment they need and deserve. A country imposing sanctions on working class families throughout the world just because they disagree with their government. And a country currently mass deporting working class families from the United States. Now the question is not, why are the US withdrawing from human rights conventions? The question is, why is Europe not reacting? Do we think this is a good thing? Are we afraid to stand up? Or is this the true face of this union, not fighting for global human rights, but for corporate interests and profits of Musk?